Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you are doing well. I am streaming remote from my phone. So I'll be looking down here. This is my phone, and I got my laptop up here. Hope everybody is doing great. I know this is not the best angle, but I don't really care. I'm actually on vacation. Been at the beach all day down here in Sarasota, Siesta Keys. Hope everybody's doing well. Med Spa Marketing Insiders. So today we're talking about essentially what to ask your marketing company before you hire them. Once again, Scale from Patient Koala. I talk to med spa owners, practice owners, literally every day. And the biggest question I get is like, especially when we're talking about marketing and advertising, they're like, I've been here, done that. Like, I know it doesn't work. I hear it over and over and over again. But as we kind of dig into the questions, and I'll ask them like, okay, what have you done in the past? How does this relate? To get a really full understanding of what they've done, so I can relate it to what we do and how we run Patient Koala and how our clients are actually crushing it with advertising nowadays online. So really what we're going to go over is 8 different questions. Essentially, even if you don't work with us, like, I want you to be educated enough to be able to vet the people who don't know what they're doing versus the people who have been here, done that, and have results over and over again. So that is really the goal of today. And I will share my screen here in a second. Go ahead and drop your comments and questions down below if you have any. We'll be rocking and rolling here in a second. I myself run Patient Koala, and my business partner, Alec. We are very good at what we do, but there are a lot of people that just live out of their parents' basement and don't really know how to market and advertise online. There's a lot of differentiating factors between us and the next marketer. I don't really need to go into that today, but today is really just to give you some tips and tricks on essentially what to do to hire your next marketing person, team. So really 8 questions before asking. Our clients are partners. Like, we're in this together. If our clients are not succeeding, we're not succeeding. In that order, our client success has to come first. So really 8 question number 1 is, what industries do you work in? Like, this is a really, really big one. What industries do you work in? What verticals? Everybody calls it a little bit different. But I truly believe is you need to expert in your industry. Like med spa specifically, even somebody that specializes within the med spa that only does a certain amount of services, if you will. Like for us, we only have 5 services: Botox, filler, laser, body sculpting, and we just added PDO threads to our 20 appointments guaranteed every single month. That is literally all we do. We have some other clients from other industries that have essentially paid us to help them. But for us, every deal that we take on is going to be a med spa deal. So we have a ton of expertise in that field. And we have turned down a lot of business just because it was outside of our realm of expertise. And we're fine with saying that, because we know if it is a good fit and you're in our realm of expertise, we're going to crush it. Like, there's no question. Like, been there, done that. We've duplicated the system over and over in big cities and small towns. So question number 1, what industries do you currently work in? That's a really, really big one. A pro tip there, if you're hiring an expert that does have industry-specific knowledge and expertise and a system that actually works, lean on that expert. Like, ask them, okay, how do I do this? Do I need to do a deposit? Should I charge $10 for a deposit versus $75 for a deposit? Lean on their expertise. Use that as your kind of sounding board. Like for us, our clients are asking Alec, my business partner, on our weekly calls, just literally about how to close more deals. Because once again, it all comes back to, if you're successful, then we're successful. Number 2, I highly recommend not hiring a yes man or a yes woman. And what that means is, I'm sure everybody's talked to that person. It's like, oh, can we do that? Yep. Can we do that? Yep. Can we do that? Yep. If they continue to say yes, 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 it's kind of like, what aren't you telling me the truth on? There should be some no's in there. There should be some questions where they're like, no, I wouldn't recommend doing that, and here's why. Make sure they give you a reason. But don't hire the yes man, because anybody can promise you yes, yes, yes on the front end, and then on the back end not being able to deliver results. Like for us, we say no to about 50% of the people that I interview on the sales side, because not everybody's a good fit. Not everybody's pricing is right. Not every business owner runs their business correctly. Not everybody has the systems in place. Not everybody is coachable. So for us, we only work with about 50% of the people that we actually interview, which is a really low amount. Could be very surprising to other people as well. Be willing to hear no. So what I mean by that is, kind of ties into number 2. You should be able to hear no. When we say we can't do something, there's a reason why we can't do it. Like, we've tried it. Like, for example, we had a body contouring lady that was wanting to pay us a lot of money to advertise for a body sculpting offer. And it was about, I want to say $2,800 for, it was either 1 or 2 sessions. It was a pretty pricey treatment, but we know it works, but not for like an introductory offer. We know that the people that we attract in our marketing and advertising are people that literally don't know what body sculpting is, for example. They need to be educated, they need to be coached, they need to have like a basic introductory offer. And then from there, that's where you introduce the $2,800 package. That's where you introduce the upsell and the cross sells to Botox, filler, and so on and so forth. So be willing to hear no from a marketing perspective. I'm not saying I know everything. Our team doesn't know everything. We're learning every day. When we say no, be open to kind of hearing that and be like, okay, why not? That's a good follow-up question. Number 4, this is a really good one. What's worst case scenario? So worst case scenario, and what I mean by that is essentially whenever you do marketing, there's always going to be a worst case scenario. We have a guarantee to really hedge that downside to make it a no-brainer for people to say yes with working with us and Patient Koala, because we know it works. If it fits within our criteria, like I mentioned earlier, we only work with about 50%, but if it does, then we can say yes to that deal. So number 4, what's the worst case scenario here? So business owners, you have to understand that there's risk in everything. There's risk in working with literally anybody out there. Why I love that question is like, okay, what's the worst case scenario here? So for us, the worst case scenario is you're going to have a boatload of leads. You're going to own all the data. You're going to get reviews. Our average client increases online reviews by about 30%. Just by working with us. So asking like, okay, if it doesn't go to plan, like what exactly does that mean? Like for us, if we don't hit our guarantee, which knock on wood, we haven't done yet, hopefully that never happens, but what is the worst case scenario? So number 5, what is the indirect ROI from hiring you? This is another really, really good one, because indirect ROI is essentially the things that aren't exactly like, okay, you put $1 in, you get $3 out. Like that is a direct ROI. The indirect ROI, like let's take, for example, our starter package is about $1,000. It's like, boom, okay, $1,000. We have anything from ranging to the 1,500, 2,000. If you have any questions about our packages, shoot me a message. I'll be more than welcome to go over them with you. So let's just take, you put $1,000 in, our direct ROI would be $2,000 out in new patients. That's like a direct ROI. You put 1,000 in, you get 2,000 out. Put $1 in, you get $2 out. So that's a really easy way to quantify. But a lot of what we do is more about the indirect ROI. A big one, like I mentioned earlier, 30% more reviews, like online reviews. Everybody knows online reviews is a really big part of building your business online. It is crucial. If you have 1-star review, people are not going to come to your practice. They're just not. So 30% more reviews and 30% better reviews. That is an indirect ROI of working with us. Even if we produce $2,000 worth of new patients, those new patients are going to give you more reviews, which will continue to get the ball rolling and then continue to build that momentum. Second part, and this is some actual stats from our business, is 50% people come back and pay full price. So I get a lot of questions with the Groupon, and I'm going to stop my screen share now because this is really important. Everybody knows what Groupon is, but the problem with Groupon is only 17% of the returning patients come back and pay full price. 17. So that is a very, very, very low number. Ours is 50%. So ours is a lot higher than the Groupon people. I think Groupon is a bad thing. The introductory offer definitely works because Groupon is super successful. But for you as a practice owner, you got to understand, if you give, 20 units for $179 or whatever it is, if it's on Groupon, only 17% of those people are going to come back and pay full price. They're going to, the rest of those people are going to want that deal. So take that as you will. For us, 50% of people come back and pay full price. I'm not saying only 50% of people come back. 50% of people come back and pay full price. So our kind of internal metric right here, and then another indirect ROI, is 1/3 of the people should be upsold. So whenever we get you 3 patients, 1 of those should be upsold into another package or another service. That's an easy kind of metric to kind of have some internal communication with your team to say, okay, 1/3 of the people that come in, at least 1 of those should be upsold to a higher package. So those are really, really powerful stats. But what is indirect? Everybody looks at the direct ROI versus the indirect ROI. Indirect ROI is just as important as the direct ROI. Obviously, the direct ROI should be put $1,000 in, you get $2,000 to $5,000 out in new clients. If you're getting more reviews, if those people are being upsold, On the back end, they're paying full price and they're cross-selling and promoting. And that's not even taking into account referrals of the people that are bringing to you. If you do a great job, they're going to give you a great referral to essentially to bring back your friends and family. So number 6, this is, what are the reasons why this won't work? That is a really good question. And I honestly have never heard it, but I wanted to go over here and give you guys the insider tip. Why won't this work? So we're very picky with who we work with. As I mentioned earlier, we only work with about 50% of the people that want to work with us. Is there a reason why this won't work? This is really important. Not going to come easy, because our most successful clients, there's a reason why they're most successful. They're coachable. They implement the tactics and scripts that we put in place every week. They're coming to our weekly meetings with Alec, and they're like, okay, great. I saw 5 people this month, or 5 people this week. They bought $2,700 worth. Like, how do I make that $3,700 worth? They're asking questions. They're intentional with every action they do. But essentially, reasons why it don't work? Mainly for us, our biggest things are like, people are closed-minded. They think that everything that they do is correct and there's not any room for improvement. There's always room for improvement, myself included. I don't know everything. I'm learning literally every day something new. Be open-minded, be coachable. That's a really big one. Number 7, what are the best clients doing? So number 7 and 8 are really important here. What are the best clients doing, and what are the worst clients doing? Not as a worst as a derogatory, but it's like best performing and then worst performing. Best performing, same thing, being coachable, being open-minded, being willing to essentially come to the calls, implement what we teach you, because we've interviewed like our top 10%, top 5% of clients, and we know what they're doing well. We've created scripts, we created SOPs, we created a process around these people, because there's a reason why it might be your competition is crushing it in your market, and you're sitting at 5K a month, 2K a month, something like that. What are your worst performing clients doing? These are just tips and tricks to kind of get you to think about different ways to market. One of the first questions I get is, what is the price of this? It's like the worst question to ask. You should ask it. You should understand how it works, but you shouldn't ask it until you understand the product from start to finish. It's like, okay, if somebody says, how much does it cost? For example, I always like to say this. If you go to the doctor and you ask the doctor, hey, what's the cost of this treatment? What's the cost of the treatment? The doctor's be like, I'm not sure. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with you. I haven't provided a recommendation yet. So it's really hard to quote somebody essentially like, what's it going to cost to fix this thing, if we don't know what's wrong with fixing it first. So we have to understand your business, understand where you're coming from, understand what marketing you've done, what you haven't done, and kind of coach you along the process before we provide a recommendation. I can do a whole other video about providing a recommendation without getting all the details. So for us, we'll essentially interview and just make sure you're a good fit, ask questions, make sure pricing is aligned, make sure you get a better idea of what your employee count is. Even if you don't have employees, we can definitely still help you. Those are really 8 questions that hopefully you can take this. If you want to schedule a meeting with me, I'll go through the 8 questions, make sure it is a good fit for you. But that's really the long and short of it. I hope this brought you a ton of value. I don't think there's anything else, but hopefully that brought you guys value. Once again, if you want a guaranteed way to consistently bring in high-paying clients, let me know. Our patient quality program is open. It's the end of February. We have a special deal going on through February. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, have a good day and keep crushing.